Once upon a time, over 10 years ago now, there was a show put out into the world called Arrow, and through its gritty and dark and young adult angst take on the hero Green Arrow, a universe was born. The Arrowverse it was named, and just as important, from that Arrowverse came a slew of shows that grew in their own ways, many of which are on the air still or created other shows to replace them. The new head honcho of the Arrowverse is that of The Flash, and it's filled with facts and fun bits that you might not realize. So allow us to show you the Flash behind-the-scenes facts. Number 9. How Grant Gustin proved Flash needed his own show. When Arrow came around, there were no plans to start a universe worth of shows, let alone have them cross over so many times that it would evolve into the now legendary Crisis on Infinite Earths. But after the success of Arrow Season 1, they wanted to do a test. So they hired Grant Gustin to be Barry Allen for a set of episodes during Season 2 of Arrow to see if people would resonate with his character and want to see him in his own show. It was what is referred to as a backdoor pilot, and sure enough, fans really did love his take on Barry Allen. And so after Season 2 of Arrow was done, a pilot was ordered of The Flash. So without Barry making that connection to fans, we wouldn't have gotten the series that we have now had for 7 seasons, going on 8. But if you think that they weren't prepared for blowback, you don't know the CW. Number 8. The Backup Plan. Even though the CW was high on the idea of having The Flash be its very own series with ties to the greater Arrowverse, there was a backup plan put in place for Grant Gustin just in case the series didn't work out the way the producers had hoped. Greg Berlanti, the show's executive producer and one of the masterminds behind CW's expansive shared universe, revealed in an interview with Digital Spy in 2014 just what kind of contingency he and his fellow showrunners had in place, stating, "Fingers crossed we don't screw it up and he gets his own show. If he didn't, I don't think we would ever want to let Grant go. He's too valuable. That would be our hope. I think no matter what, to keep Barry part of the universe." Now this line of thinking actually would lead to what we now know as Legends of Tomorrow, where a lot of the supporting characters would go off on one show and head to another to get more screen time, which even included Wally West at one point. But obviously Barry got his own show and that led to many big moments, including a certain wedding. Number 7. The Wedding Dress. In the 4th season of The Flash during the Crisis on Earth X crossover event, Iris and Barry finally got married, an event literally building since the beginning of The Flash as a whole, but there was much more to that wedding than you think in terms of BTS stuff. In an attempt to add some level of realism and true emotion for the actors in the scene, Candice Patton, who portrays Iris West, was given the chance to pick out the wedding dress herself. She flew all the way out to Monique Lhuillier in Los Angeles to get the perfect gown. That's right, she went and got her own dress that she felt would be perfect for a wedding, even though it was a fake wedding. The irony, as viewers know, is that Barry and Iris didn't get married in their wedding outfits but in street clothes at the end of the crossover. Number 6. The Trickster's Return. You can't have a great comic book show without including some of the superheroes' fiercest adversaries, and that was no different for The Flash in 2014 when it was announced that Mark Hamill would be reprising his role as the Trickster in the CW series, nearly 25 years after he first portrayed the iconic villain in the 1990 Flash series. As shocking as this may have been for fans, it was even more shocking for Hamill himself, who shared his disbelief during an IGN interview stating, "When they asked me to be a part of it, the last thing I was thinking was that I would be returning to that specific role. But I think you're going to be really pleased with what they've come up with. It was totally unexpected." What fans forget is that Hamill was the Trickster in Flash before he was the Joker in Batman the Animated Series, and you can tell the similarities in the characters when you see him be the live-action Trickster again. Hamill was a welcomed addition, and they brought him back for a few more episodes to flesh out the character even more. The force and tricks were strong in this one. Number 5. From actors to directors. What's really nice about many of the shows that are contained within the Arrowverse is that there's such a sense of community between the cast. They seem to be as much of a family as the characters on the show, and it's been exciting to watch these actors slowly be given more responsibilities like directing. Tom Cavanaugh and Danielle Panabaker have both gotten into the director's chair and helmed some highly memorable episodes. It will be interesting to see if any of the cast will go on to direct outside of The Flash. And should you be curious, yes, they did have to go and take classes to make this happen, as Warner Brothers actually has a class to help up-and-coming directors. Panabaker even spoke about it before her directorial debut and praised Warner Brothers for allowing her to have the chance to do it. Number 4. Zooping. One of the coolest things about the production of The Flash is the way that they are able to capture the lightning streaks that speedsters generate. In comparison to cinematic companions, The Flash's version of these colorful streaks is arguably much better than fans were expecting coming into the show, as the CW is known for having small budgets at times. The actual effect of blurring through a shot, sending papers flying into the air amidst a stream of red lightning, quickly became a trademark for the show, and was actually named by the cast and crew. They called it zooping. Number 3. Candice Patton versus the fans. While it's fair to say that the Arrowverse as a whole has a lot of passionate fans, those fans can sometimes get a bit too passionate about things, including the source material and who is cast as certain characters. For example, ever since it was announced that Candice Patton would be playing Iris West in The Flash, there had been a lot of backlash from DC Comics fans over the casting of an African-American actress to play a character who has traditionally been presented as white and, most importantly in the minds of some fans, a redhead. This animosity steered towards Patton is both cruel and unjustified, but the leading lady of the CW comic series never seems to let the racism get her down, as she responded to a comment on a picture she posted on Twitter saying that she single-handedly ruined the show, stating, "And I got paid big bucks to do it." Oh yeah, that's how a reporter puts down a troll. Number 2. The Flash meets The Flash. Easily one of the biggest and coolest moments of Crisis on Infinite Earths was when Barry found himself in the Speed Force and bumped into himself. But not himself as in Grant Gustin, but himself as in the Ezra Miller version of The Flash that has been in the DCEU films. That scene was not supposed to happen in the initial crossover, mainly because the Arrowverse team thought they wouldn't be allowed to do it. But sure enough, WB not only signed off on it, they're the ones who asked for it. And just as impressive, they somehow kept this a secret, making it one of the most jaw-dropping moments and crossovers in history. Mark Guggenheim talked about this unbelievable scene happening in 2020. "We were series wrapped on Arrow, and we were wrapped on the whole crossover. We were in post and some episodes were locked and some were soft-locked. I got a phone call from Warner Brothers boss Peter Roth saying, 'I know you're locked, but can you put Ezra into the crossover?' And I said, 'Yes.' And he said, 'How? Your series wrapped, and you're wrapped on the crossover.' And I said, 'Yeah, I know, but if you're telling me Ezra Miller can be in the crossover, I can make it happen.' And make it happen they did." Number 1. 52. Now there are many fun Easter eggs hidden throughout The Flash that pay service to the comics that the shows pull from. The number 52 is a big deal in the DC universe, particularly in reference to the new 52 run. To pay respect to this, every episode in The Flash's first season has the number 52 hidden in it somewhere. So let's see if you can find them all in a flash. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at The Flash and how the show not only came to be, but the little things that made it special throughout its first 7 seasons? Are you excited for what is to come in Season 8? What do you think will happen with the cast and characters in it? Do you think that The Flash will continue on for some time? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.